Morning, fellow Ghanaians. It's all about the COVID-19 update. Welcome to A.M Ghana Breakfast Show here on Adoatv. My name is Reginald Robertson. The show is one to give you a lot of information, a lot of education here on today. And we are going to look at issues concerning COVID-19 in Ghana and issues that's affecting the world at large. US remains to be on top of the game when it comes to COVID-19 on the world radiometer. Number one. Ghana is still recording cases beyond 1,000 or over 1,000. We're going to look into it soon. Yesterday, the Ghana Medical Association went to meet the president. Let's see what he said and also be speaking to them on their take concerning the lifting of the lockdown or the ban on the lockdown, partial lockdown in Accra and some parts of Ghana. Welcome to the show anyway. Anastasia.
Yes, Jay. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
I'm fine. Fine. Well, I want to say a very good morning to all our viewers who are watching on Facebook, Adoatv Ghana, and also on YouTube, Adoatv GH. And also now, Otinkrama came with AM Ghana News, and you can visit our website for more updates on COVID-19 and other stories, also on www.adoanewsonline.com. Don't forget, AM Ghana Show is proudly sponsored by Borges Olive Oil. Borges, the best always. Migo Purified Drinking Water. You are the only one in my eye. Blue City ties and accessories for all your fashion needs, especially in this COVID-19 times. You should contact Blue City ties for your face mask. Face mask is a must nowadays. Now that we have been released, face mask should be part and parcel of your life. So you should contact Blue City ties or contact us at Adoatv and we will get some for you and then it will be delivered to you. And also Yaxin Herbal Mixture. Yaxin Herbal Mixture also has got you covered. We have promised to bring you educative, informative, and also interactive session of AM Ghana Show today, 21st April 2020. We're having some guests from the FDA, Ghana Medical Association, and then also we're having a Dr. Professor Sego be coming in to also speak to us on updates concerning COVID-19 and measures put together so far. Measure 7 has been given. Restrictions on movement have been lifted. Are short drivers going by the numbers that have been given? Are they going? Are they complying? Are they also observing all protocols? Are they observing these protocols in the markets as well? Are market women even abreast what is happening? Are sanitizers used often? Do they have face masks? How are they taking care of their face masks? On AM Ghana Show, we have sworn or we have made it a point or we always make it a point to educate you on what you need to know concerning COVID-19. And subsequently in the week, we're bringing you some updates or all you need to know on education you need to know about COVID-19, the updates so far and what is happening around the world concerning this deadly virus.
That is exactly for you. This deadly virus, we're giving you a lot of updates on the show and subsequently on other programs too on Adoatv Ghana, which you need to be following us keenly. We are streaming live on Facebook. Let's get interactive. Give us your views and thoughts about a segment on Adoatv Ghana and also Adoatv_GH on YouTube as well. Give us the update I want to do. As and when there's a need for us to open the phone lines, we can do so for us to know what is happening. We're going straight to the newspaper headlines. Anastasia.
Yes, the truth and accuracy every day. The daily graphic for today, Tuesday, April 21, 2020. On page 11 says, boy 2 drowns in abandoned well. And also on page 11, businesses open after lockdown. On page 19, parties express mixed reactions over lifting of lockdown. And we'll bring you details of this after doing the headlines or the front page of the paper. And the big one here that has the continuation on page 3 says, partial lockdown lifted. Nation's capacity informed decision. President is saying. And the President Nanadan Akufo-Addo says the decision to lift the partial lockdown on Accra, Kumasi, Tema, and Kaswa was taken after a careful consideration of a number of factors. He said the country's current capacity to trace victims of this disease, being able to test, being able to isolate and quarantine those people so that we take them out of the population. And of course, and the continuation is of course on page 3. And this is the front page like you can see on your screens. And at the back page of the daily graphic, it says, East Mamprisi police kills suspected armed robber, arrest others. FDA recalls and batches of COAFS food supplement. And it says the Food and Drugs Authority has recalled all batches of COAFS or COAFS food supplements manufactured by the Coa Herbal Center in Cape Coast and registered by the authority as a food supplement. The authority said the recall was as a result of laboratory analysis on samples picked from the market and the manufacturing facility of Koa Herbal Center in Wusokrom near Cape Coast, which showed excessive microbial, mold and yeast contamination. In a statement issued and signed by the Chief Executive Officer of the FDA, Mrs. Dillis A.A. Darkon, the authority said the samples were also contaminated with E. coli, which must be absent in all medical products. This makes the product substandard and therefore not recommended, it stated. So the FDA wants to assure the general public that it will always uphold the health and safety of Ghanaians as mandated by the Public Health Act 2012, Act 851. And yesterday in a release that came or that circulated on social media, they are asking that you return every bit of it, every product that you've gotten from Koa FS, any food supplement you've bought concerning this particular reportage. You're supposed to return it either to the FDA or back to the office where you bought it from. And also bringing details on businesses open after lockdown on page 11 and also on page 19. Parties express mixed reactions over lifting of lockdown. So it says the New Patriotic Party has welcomed the government's decision to lift the ban on restriction of movement in parts of the country. It, however, said Ghanaians must strictly adhere to the preventive and safety protocols in order not to contract the novel coronavirus COVID-19 disease. Speaking in an interview, the Director of Elections and Research, Mr. Ivan Snimakos, said it was important that Ghanaians exercise restraint and rallied behind the government and health authorities to bring the pandemic under control. What is important is for us all to support the government to contain the pandemic. If we all join the fight to win the war against COVID-19, it is a country that wins and not any individual, he said. He therefore called on all stakeholders, including political parties, to come on board and accept the challenge to defeat COVID-19, stressing we have one Ghana and we cannot afford to lose focus. And so you have it there. You should grab a copy of the Daily Graphic and then get details of these stories and some more also in the paper.
All right, let's move to the most authoritative newspaper, the Ghanaian Times. We have the FDA recall of Koa FS public raises concern. The stories on page 14. Hopefully, we have an official from FDA that will be coming today, be talking about this issue. So do stick us to it. Let's know what the issue concerning Koa FX is. But it seems that people from China are saying that okay, it's a good immune booster. I think there's one or two things that the regulator is feeling that it's not okay with the drug. We'll be looking into it. COVID-19 business activities bounce back in Accra, Kumasi after 3-week lockdown. So yesterday I went to the market and realized that it's booming, but let's see what is going to happen. Procedure like today and tomorrow. But early morning traffic is not gotten to the pace it needs to get, like what we normally see. It seems some people are really advising themselves against this opening of the lockdown or the easing of restriction in these areas. Now, on page 11, we have NDC TUC others react to lifting of partial lockdown. The stories on page 11. Now, let me take a quick read into it. The National Democratic Congress coronavirus COVID-19 technical team has described the government's decision to lift movement restrictions on affected areas as premature and dangerous, which will result in escalation in the number of infections. President Nana Akufo-Addo on Sunday announced his decision to suspend restrictions imposed on the movement of persons within some parts of Greater Accra, Tamakaswa, and the Greater Kumasi after a 3-week partial lockdown. The decision to ease restrictions, according to the president, was due to the country's ability to undertake aggressive contact tracing of infected persons, isolate and treat them. However, a statement signed and issued by Prosper Bini, chairman of the team, in Accra yesterday, said that Ghana does not meet any of the 6 criteria stipulated by the World Health Organization, WHO, as a basis for lifting restrictions on movement to combat the disease. The criteria including the ability of health system to detect, test, isolate, and treat every case and trace every contact. Hotspot risks are minimized in vulnerable places, among others. It said should act as a guide to curb possible worsening of the crisis. According to the team, COVID-19 was not yet under adequate control in Ghana to merit any ease of restriction on movement currently. We are mindful of the fact that a backlog of tests from samples of about 10,000 took us from 6,600 plus cases to 10,000 plus cases, with over 18,000 plus samples yet to be tested. There is a higher possibility that our cases may surge as we are yet to get to our peak. Let me take this one again. We are mindful of the fact that a backlog of tests from samples of about 10,000 took us from 600 plus cases to 1,000 plus cases, with over 18,000 yet to be tested. There is a higher possibility that our cases may surge as we are yet to get to our peak. We believe these backlog samples are from primary and secondary contacts who have in turn made several contacts in a chain of human interactions and whose test results are yet to be ascertained. The statement noted. Went further to say a lot of things, but it seems that on that same note, TUC applauds government for opening or easing the restrictions. The Secretary General for the Trade Union Congress, Dr. Yaba, has commended the government's decision to lift the partial lockdown imposed on some parts of the country to stem the spread of coronavirus. He said the decision to lift the ban after 3 weeks is in the right direction, given the dire consequences of prolonged restrictions. I think that a whole mixed feeling or mixed reactions we can see has gone into this. NDC chides president for lifting the ban. The NDC has chided the president Akufo-Addo for suspending the ban on the partial lockdown in Greater Accra and Kumasi, describing it as a total premature lockdown and lack of scientific basis. A statement signed and issued by Sami Jemfi, the National Communication Officer NDC, said the decision was politically motivated and aimed of making space for Electoral Commission to compile new voters register for this year's general election. The party further questioned why the president would impose a partial lockdown to halt the spread of coronavirus pandemic in the country, and at the time the country had only recorded 134 cases with 5 deaths, but lifted the partial ban at a time that the positive cases accounted to 1,042 with 9 deaths. So these are some of the things we'll be talking to the Secretary General of the Ghana Medical Association to give us some highlights about it, because the next story on page 12 is when the president explained to the leadership of the Ghana Medical Association that the lifting of the partial lockdown is as a result to save people from hardship. President explains. Minister Lord Zumlayon, MMDAs, and then security agencies for the 3-day cleanup exercise in Accra. The story is on page 13. Let me say to the Okankwe South Municipal Assembly that the Pamprom to Awudome gutters there that you've dredged, that you've removed the residues and you've placed them at the shoulders of the road. You've left them there for the past 4 days. Please go for it before it enters the gutters again. I beg you. Please. We acknowledge the fact that you are doing a good work, but do it to the latter. At the back page of the Ghanaian Times, President donates assorted food items to 13 traditional councils in Greater Accra. President donates assorted food items to 13 traditional councils in Greater Accra. We have Mr. Ishmael Ashite, second from the right, presenting some items to Ni Ufusu Ufli, Manklalu, and then looking on is Mrs. Elizabeth Saki, Deputy Regional Minister. And so that is some relief items coming from the president to 3 traditional councils in Greater Accra. VACO presents items to Tama Regional Hospital Command for Police Command to fight coronavirus. VACO presents items to Tama Regional Police Command to fight coronavirus COVID-19. That's all for the Ghanaian Times. Grab a copy and read for the internet.
The last but not least newspaper, the New Crusading Guide, on page 10. COVID-19, Ghana gets $500 million debt repayment freeze from World Bank. COVID-19, Ghana gets $500 million debt repayment freeze from World Bank. And also somewhere it says, we will fight till corona is eliminated. Ghana Medical Association assures President. And on pages 3 and 10, TUC backs Akufo-Addo over lockdown ease. And then also on COA FS and the FDA under fire over recall of COA FS. At the back page of the New Crusading Guide, We still have some updates still in this COVID-19 crisis about sports, and it says GFA shortlist 6 candidates for technical director job. The Ghana Football Association says it has shortlisted 6 candidates for interview for the vacant technical director position. The 6 candidates, made up of 3 Ghanaians and 3 expatriates, are currently undergoing interviews through video conferencing with a select committee of the GFA. The technical director position became vacant this month following the departure of Mr. Samuel Francis Otia Kinting, whose contract expired at the end of March 2020. The technical director role is a prerequisite of FIFA, and Ghana intends to appoint his successor as soon as possible. It will be recalled that in March 2020, the GFA opened applications for the people sent the applications. The new technical director will be responsible for the technical development and progress of the GFA. His responsibilities also include planning and executing a long-term view of how to continually raise standards and innovations both on and off the pitch, and to ensure that the path from development teams to Ghana men's senior team, Black Stars, and women's senior team, Black Queens, are always integrated, learning is shared, and the basic principles of how we play are integrated. The select committee is expected to support the report to the Executive Council, and once approval is given, the new technical director will be announced. More on sports. Balotelli declares his love for jollof. Really? So this this affirms with that. Reginald said that anything that happens in sports is news.
But it's a good twist. It's a good twist.
Balotelli declares his love.
Of late, I've
for
been trailing the celebrities, and I want everything they do should be news. So if I even find them doing irregular exercise, it should be news out of it.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one on sports.
If it's not wrong in sports, it shouldn't be wrong in entertainment.
No. Yeah. Well, the last story on sports says, I'll continue to support COVID-19 fight in Ghana till it's gone. Ajiman Bedu. And yesterday in sports on the evening news, Mubarak Wakasa says he actually signed up for a Chinese club because of money. And so you should visit our website and then read more into it. You can grab a copy of the new proceeding guide also and get the details from here. So that ends it for the newspaper headlines.
All right, so we'll be speaking to Sani Abib very soon, a security analyst, to tell us why he's saying that it is not safe for the president to lift the partial lockdown in Greater Accra, Greater Kumasi, Tema, and some areas in Kaswa as a result of COVID-19. We'll be speaking shortly when the line goes through. We have a lot of other interviews we're doing to you. Actually, we'll be speaking to the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association concerning this. But I shudder to think the level at which this lifting of ban, or maybe the easing of the restrictions that has been proposed or placed in Accra in these areas, people have their own opinions and then their decisions that they've taken upon it. Sani Abib is on the live speaker. Good morning, Sani. How are you doing?
Very well, my brother.
I believe you are enjoying your easing of restriction since yesterday.
Well, interestingly, I have been working every single day since the inception of the lockdown.
All right. All right, Sani, we've heard that you are saying that it is not prudent for the president to lift the ban on the lockdown. How true is that? Hello? Hello? I think we've lost him. We'll be trying to reach him back on the line. We'll call him back. I think I lost him. Sorry about that. But I'll be speaking to him shortly again when we're able to pull the line through to him to get him. I believe we're having a network issue. So our network providers, please, access providers, please do, and then check it for us. Else we'll stop paying. Head of programs is there. Should write a memo to you.
How can you say something and put on my neck?
Yeah. I know you do it. So that's been my content. I wish one way or the other. Apietus has done a video, and fellow Ghanaians. I'm going to log up Ghana for 2 weeks, and fellow Ghanaians, we are lifting the ban. Fellow Ghanaians, what else do you want me to do? So sometimes I am in a fist. I see the funny thing is that I am understanding all the arguments, where the arguments are coming from. People are raising logical concerns, people are raising medical concerns, people are raising social concerns as of it. But yesterday, one thing that your guest, the one you did the phone-in interview, did, and it took my attention to it, is that we've taken it's economic nosedive, but we can use scientific measures or maybe science theories or medical theories or research to cover up. But at the end of the day, I feel that government cannot go ahead to feed people all the time like it's feeding. The relief items are in, but we can't continue like this. So at one point, they are supposed to just lift it and then let's see what happens.
But Reginald, I also think that before some of these decisions will be made, considerations would have been
Exactly.
They would have considered certain things before arriving at some of these things. So remember, in the sixth measure that was given in his address, he mentioned where we're going to.
Anastasia, Sunny is back on the line. Okay. Sunny.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think the line had to pick up, but yeah. Okay. I understand that you are in disagreement with the president concerning this recent decision over the partial lockdown in Accra, Greater Kumasi, and then Tema and Kaswa, for instance. How is it going to affect our security as a country?
Well, thank you very much. A very good morning to yourself and your viewers. The whole COVID-19 issue is a security nightmare. I am saying so because it is what we call human insecurity, as enshrined in the 1994 UNDP report on human development. That gives the most important aspect of security to the security centered at the individual level. That is health security, environmental, political, financial, food security, water security. I mean, they are all aspects of security that we hardly give attention to. We are tempted to believe that insecurity is all about the firing of guns at each other and all that, but it goes way beyond. If you don't have access to potable water, it is a human security issue. If you don't have good roads to transport your goods, your farm produce to the market, it's a human security issue. If you don't have a job, if you are poor, it's a human security issue. And so the whole COVID-19 pandemic is a major security issue, and there's a direct, clearly defined correlation between human security and physical security, because the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting the whole supply chain. It is making people lose jobs in the millions. Businesses are collapsing, and economies have virtually been grounded. As a result, there are a number of people who would definitely lose their jobs, and you can imagine the trickle-down effect it has on mass defeat. And others who, by all means possible, hook or crook, would wish to make ends meet as a means of survival. And when it happens that way, there's a possibility that you might have crime increasing. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
When there are no jobs in the rural areas, the young men think that the only way to survive is to come to the urban centers.
Yes.
Because they saw Kofi or Issa come to Accra, return to the village with a Toyota Camry. So they are tempted to feel that when they also come, by all means, they would take money. However, when they arrive and things don't go the way they planned, their expectations are not met, they get frustrated, they get disenchanted, and that would spell belligerence towards the system. That is when you have them settle in Kaswa, Nima, Choko, and other places, and start going into activities of land guard activity. And aside that, you have them joining political vigilante groups and all that, which is usually a precursor to becoming an armed robber. Okay, so human insecurity leads to fiscal insecurity. And I think it is important that we put all the structures in place to ensure that we don't have the disease spreading at the community level in Ghana, else we might be a bigger challenge that would find extremely difficult to surmount, especially taking into consideration how bad our healthcare delivery system in Ghana is.
Sunny, I'm really, for the explanation you've given concerning the level of what we'll call security when it comes to human security, human crisis, and now to physical security. To what extent, I want you to know, will the easing of restriction affect physical security? Because during the lockdown period, I've heard stories of people going to break into people's homes, robbery ongoing at night, and essential workers are being stopped or are being collided into at lone roads in some parts of Accra and Kumasi. Maybe, to where we said, maybe opening up or easing a restriction would forego some of these activities. But it seems from where you say, it's a different ballgame altogether.
Indeed, it is, because if the virus spreads, we might be in a really messed up situation, and that could pose an existential security threat to us as a country. You get me? Because definitely it would hit us hard. More jobs would be lost, more businesses would collapse, and the trickle-down effect. Okay. Secondly, there's a need for some kind of enforcement of the social distancing protocols, and mostly it is to be led by the security agents. Okay, and considering how low their numbers are, you can imagine how difficult it would be to implement those protocols. And most importantly, in the U.S., there was a State Department memo to all law enforcement agencies in all the 50 states, warning them of potential terrorist threats because the whole world's attention is on COVID-19, and terrorist groups will take advantage to plan attacks. And we know what is happening in Burkina Faso with respect to, jihadists claiming fight governments, especially in Burkina Faso and in Mali. They have faced several attacks within the West African subcontinent and, of course, the Sahel region. Terrorist groups like Ansar Deen, Ansar Sharia, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, Boko Haram, etc., are having a field day because the attention is so very much on, deploying our strength, both human and material, to fighting this coronavirus. You understand? And this could create a unique, situation for these terrorist guys to regroup, re-strategize, and hit us hard. Okay, so that is the fear. In as much as we're concerned with corona, we should also be much concerned with everyday security.
What would have been the best decision when the president had a chance to speak to the nation on Sunday? I probably would. What was a possible extension of the lockdown would have been best. Would have put in our security in good checks. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, of course, because definitely that means we'll be committing ourselves to really nipping in the coronavirus. Actually, Ghana is the first country in Africa to lift the lockdown. Many countries across the globe are wary of doing that, knowing how dangerous that move is, because there's likely to be a resurgence. They say the second wave of infection. The World Health Organization has stated categorically that Africa is likely to be the next epicenter with an estimated 300,000 infections expected. The UN panel on COVID-19 has also warned that more people in Africa will be pushed into poverty because of the coronavirus. And poverty comes with its own attendant security issues.
Exactly.
I thought the president would have exercised a bit more patience, wait until we flatten the curve amidst rigorous, continuous tests being done. If listen, the lockdown is anything to go by, it could have been done in phases, like it is done in other countries. This is a global pandemic which requires a global response, and whatever we do at the local level, despite some few exceptions, should be consistent with
international
what is
practice.
done within the international, space, especially as observed or as advised or directed by the World Health Organization. Because all the world leaders, almost all of them, from Jair Bolsonaro of Brazil to Donald Trump of the U.S. and Boris Johnson of the U.K., who downplayed or ignored warnings by the World Health Organization, are today licking their wounds. So it is something we really need to give serious attention to and get everybody involved in the social distancing process.
Okay. Finally, concerning the social distancing protocols, initially you alluded to the fact that law enforcement agencies need to enforce the social distancing protocol. But yes, though, sorry about that. I think I lost Sani. We've tried to get him, so I answered that final question for me concerning the enforcement of social distancing protocols and how best or what he would advise that enforcement really is.
Yeah, Reginald, I think he made some concerns, or in his session, there were some concerns that he raised that other people who are not even security experts and people who fairly know the background of all these things, but actually feel that on a normal ground, these are the things that we should be considering before even lifting such restrictions on us. Because bet me, if we are to come back to our normal activities, it will only mean that, like they said, there are some people who have it and are not showing. It will only mean that you are now exposing everybody again to come into contact with those who have it and are not showing. But one way or the other will also contact it and then go back home, and then their families will be at risk. Certain conditions are there that we have to really pay attention to. But like I was saying before you had the interview, before some of these things will be made, or some of these firm decisions will be made, they would consider certain things before bringing it. I'm sure all stakeholders who are to come into play were contacted and they gave their reasons. And even in his address, he mentioned that these are the reasons why we are going back to our normal lives, but the ban still remains on public gatherings. It means that with all the restrictions or all the measures that were put in place concerning getting our closeness with people or coming into contact with people, we're still holding. But the new thing that was introduced has to do with the fact that we have to use face mask all the time. And so, like yesterday on the evening news, like Dr. Olanyo said, a lecture, we were talking about how it's going to affect the economy and the need for this being lifted, the restrictions being lifted to help make the economy a better one. He said that it only remains on Ghanaians or citizens to remain disciplined, that we'll have to take good care of ourselves, make sure we go by the preventive measures that have been given, and nothing will happen if we are not going to go by it. But Ghanaian nature, everybody thinks that we are stubborn and everybody's going by their normal lives. Nobody thinks about the other things that, okay, I have to do what will make me feel happy. At the end of the day, we should have it at the back of our minds that COVID-19 isn't anything we can play with. We should be aware of what is happening. Make sure we are going by all the measures as described by our health professionals. And I think we'll be safe.
CNN has projected that social distancing will be over unless the year 2022. Year 2022. So I think from now till year 2021 through to year 2022, the best we need to do is that we need to maintain our social distancing protocols.
Yes, Reginald, it won't only be social distancing, but a lot of people also sharing that thought that all these new things that have become the new normal for us should remain with us, even
keep washing our hands constantly.
COVID-19. Because you realize that our way of life has now changed as a result of COVID-19. Now we are washing our hands 1,000 times a week, whatever it is, but you are making sure that you are coming into contact with running water and soap, and then also sanitizing. So anywhere or wherever you have to go to get sanitizers, you make sure you have access to sanitizer, you have access to water and then soap. And so people think that, okay, after it all, this should be part of us. And I hope, like I saying, social distancing, it should also remain in the vehicles. Well, those who are loading 3 on every seat, taking 2 now, but that is going to mean that they're going to see a setback in the revenue they'll be generating from that, because already when this thing came out, they
if
were
you don't take it,
complaining.
they might undue increment in fare.
Exactly. And so, of course, they'll come asking that fuel prices should be reduced, so they'll be able to get something at the end of the day. But if that isn't done for them, like you just said, they're going to increase them, and then people will also keep complaining. It'll be difficult for people. Already, people are complaining in the markets that prices have hiked up so much that people are unable to purchase stuff on the markets. So we should consider some of these things. Make sure we are living our normal lives, but at the back of our minds, we should be observing all the protocols that have been given.
All right. Speaking about protocols, I think that the FDA has instituted one of its protocols. What is truly the issue is with the core FS. We are supposed to look into it. As I'll be speaking to one James Platte from the Food and Drug Authority, FDA, concerning this on the line. When we get to him, we are going to speak to him over this. These are among other things we'll be speaking to you on the show subsequently. We today are going to speak to the General Secretary too of the Ghana Medical Association subsequently on the show on the president's decision as well. Also be speaking to some political actors in relation to those that are against the decision of the president. Some of them, it's not that they are against, but some of them are giving pivotal reasons why they stand against the president. But from what Anastasia said, I am sure, or we are sure, that a proper consultation was done, and people that are supposed to give every advice they are supposed to give their fair input before the president came out to lift the ban on the restriction. We're doing that. So, Salas, do you have James on the line? You have James on the line? Yeah. I think we are trying to get him. We are doing our best to get him. When we get to James, we'll be speaking to him subsequently.
Yes, Reginald. In as much as we'll be asking all the questions and people, it's mind baffling, or people are baffled or are feeling worried about the president lifting the restrictions on our movement, we'll also have to know that WHO has given a criteria for which restrictions can be lifted. And so if you're looking at the criteria or the steps they've given out, it clearly spells out that, okay, before you can even get to, and it's only Ghana that has lifted its restrictions. Other countries have done same. And so I'm sure before you can do, like I said, proper consultation have been done before going through. And Reginald, quickly going through it, it says that the conditions are disease transmission is under control. And the second one is health systems are able to detect, test, isolate, and treat every case and trace every contact. Hotspot risks are minimized in vulnerable places such as nursing homes. Schools, workplaces, and other essential places have established preventive measures. The risk of importing new cases can be managed. Communities are fully educated, engaged, and empowered to live under a new normal. I think when you look through it all, there's some of them, or you list about 3 or 4 of them that probably we are really doing in the country. Like, communities are fully educated, engaged, and empowered to live under a new normal. Now, the education has gone on COVID-19. People have the mindset about it. Everybody knows what.
People are adhering to the directive.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. When you look through it.
Because if education has gone down, the people they are supposed to adjust themselves and then adhere to it. They need to live within it. But if we've done the education and people are failing to comply, then I don't think we've done the proper education.
We haven't done proper education. And if you're weighing the two, you pick those who know what really is going on, how they are supposed to live, and the protocols that are
But at the end of the day, we are not supposed to work with those who know.
Those who do not know, yes,
thing.
like we said on the show the other time, in educating them or in giving information concerning this, like we made mention of people identifying those in the area and knowing the language that they best understand and educating them based on that language. If people are not able to do that, and it's always done in English or language that they find difficult to understand, it becomes a worry, because at the end of the day, I'm giving you the information. I've heard. Somebody has heard. And the other person is telling the other. And the other is going like that. By the time it gets to the 10th person, it is already, that whatever it is, it has been faulted. And so it will amount to the fact that, okay, it's not being given as it should be given. And so based on hearsay, people are living their lives by that. And if you look at some of the interviews that we've had, if you ask people what the sanitizer is for, they don't know. They just know that in COVID-19, we are in COVID, there's a virus that has come and they've been asked to use sanitizer. And you ask how it's being applied, some do not know. So these are some of the things that we, so before these things will come up, we should have this at the back of our minds. And it's on the media to always make sure we educate anybody we come into contact. If there's a need, like yesterday, someone called on the show and was asking questions. This person needed some clarifications on things he didn't understand. Because thought that, okay, these are what I am seeing and what is there really that the government is saying. But we will have to also educate them on it. Now, we have gotten to the point where face masks has to be used. Are we given the education on how it's going to be used? Yesterday, we were told in the newspapers that guidelines on how to take care of the mask will be given. And so it's early. It's still around 7 and 7:30. We're looking forward to get those guidelines from the Ministry of Health or the Ghana Health Service to know how we are supposed to. But our health professionals who get the chance to talk to us on the show have made it very simple for us to understand. And so this education has to go on. The languages should be taking advantage of. Let us communicate in languages that they understand and make sure people are complying by these directives. At least if you go anywhere or you get to any point, people insist that you wash your hands with soap. They have placed it at their entrances. You make sure you wash your hand before you enter and then even transact any businesses. We've seen in the markets as well. The only thing we are not happy about is the fact that people are donating it and are putting their posters of their political parties on it. That is what we are combating against, or that is what we are actually speaking against. But the education has gone on. People know about it. But really what it's there for them to know and to make sure they are complying is the problem. And so we should take advantage of the languages, like I said. Let's have the education go on frequently. Anytime we get the chance, let's do that. But today, in course of the day, we'll be going to Makola and then some areas on the high street to have interactions with them to even know what they know about using the face masks and how they should take care of them. And then we can continue from there.
Yes, that's true. So whilst we are there and advise that you need to use your face mask, do well to also wash your hands regularly. You're watching A.M Ghana Breakfast Show on television. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we have more for you.
Super na wanya pomuden se wo benum nso a hwe hu se eye mega purified mineral water eye nso a yeto ne baby pa asaso ne so se kroje se wonya mega purified mineral water bogu ubu a wo see you manum super mega mineral water de edanso esan say the modern technology so na ye ede ne nkabia ne atri mega purified mineral water bacteria na mhe no abewram eye very hygienic obia di wadanse mega mineral water neatly packaged for 500 ml bottles mu na wani bosua na wokon donsio wo benya mega purified mineral water to bebia to phone call dodo wa amount for tipa junction and now for 05070554009 and now 055392108 mega purified mineral water akona kono.
John, who fin you? Wow, Eddie, what boy juma. I check a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatek. Oh, na Simon, roofing is a baby bray, nice keke. Why the catch hell? Asatek roofing sheet dear, and your nice keke with the bodan swa a chee and renache. They want a calisa who do a fair be bray. No one free roofing sheet no dear. Who hear that will be out. Now so the bodan swa a zero supampe. What means to trauma send your open roofing sheet no? You try the salmon pepe. Mama poor Asatek when you're there. One of my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers nso a your on-site installation ne bo so kra da fam pa. Oh yes, quality ne bo da fam nyen. Asatek 5 days pay na mo sa kan order na wo ye after sales service proper bi nso. Hwehwe Asatek Watema Community 2 Meridian Road Ebenkoko Board Warehouse Western Region. So Asatek Takrade Anaji yene Princeland Hotel ene di hwene mu and Volta Region yawo Akachi South District Assembly kwan so ha.
ya Jackson mixture mu endaso.
Da bre malaria ni ewuji bibribi. Ah. Hey. Jackson mixture ni ewuhwe no wonu watwa. No. Yam yomre. Wapasu chichi wana. Jackson mixture. Jackson mixture. Jackson mixture. So and Vanya grow. Yo ya. Onu mu nyawde. Award wana. Vanya grow. No. Jackson mixture.
Eye malaria nkwadia no Jackson mixture. Na beti asi kinken.
Mom enye ma oba afafuru. Oba o ma bofra no fo. Abofra woni mfie du mienu eno maduri. Jackson herbal mixture only size.
Ago, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it and wash your hands with soap and running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868. Or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Borges Extra Virgin Olive Oil, best for salad dressing. A little of Borges Classic Olive Oil will make delicious meals. Borges with garlic, excellent for your grills. Make your meals healthy with Borges.
I maintain a healthy life with Borges Olive Oil.
Borges Olive Oil, the very best always.
One peswa honomono, eho etisenye. Brodon so ho awoten, ehon so etisenye. O memuna kasa woteno, ehon so etisen eni. Insembi diko, insembi editie. Timemufo ete pentekwato santene koto aba wo hwe ne mo kwan se aka kendifo wo beyi won betumi aboa ama man no etumi etumpon eso akendifo ebegidwa no etena so a na chese sebia so timemufo to a wotua no wode wasa wonsrem insembi diko insembi editie we intine ho behia se memende biada wo brabo non kron e wo wudon no so sei ken woni me ebedi ehia e wo Adoatv kasafidie so wo bra ye to nsa afra manyofo a wodo semo akotin wana bianhye wonim diankasa etwetwe nkomo wabra ye to nsa afam mahye bedwemni no mesini cracker wo honom e betutu na no na achesen sema edika editie no ya toto ho sere ene abasa e wo kasefidi eso me a metine dwemu edigimedi ho chiame edi amede so ene political baby face.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emil's Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Gatling got away brilliantly and he's ahead of the field at the moment and Bolt going in. Here comes Usain Bolt!
Join me, Samuel Kusi Apia, every Monday at 8 p.m. on Adoatv as I bring you good things from the world of sports.
Borges extra virgin olive oil, best for salad dressing. A little of Borges classic olive oil will make delicious meals. Borges with garlic, excellent for your grills. Make your meals healthy with Borges.
I maintain a healthy life with Borges olive oil.
Borges olive oil, the very best always.
John, wofi ni new. Wow, ede ye fe, edi wabɔ adwuma. I check wofi na, oye fe wankasa from Asatek. Oh, na say mo roofing sheets aba bebre nice keke. Why na ka kire o? Asatek roofing sheet de, enye nice keke o. Wo de bodan so a eche yie, enwe na che. Na wo na colors ahodo fe bebre. No mo ne free roofing sheet no de. Wo nya dad wa bia o. Na so de bodan so a ejire so pampe. Wotumi so kire mo se ne ope roofing sheet no. Ye twa de sama pepepe. Mama po Asatek money there. One ma technical advice na estimate free or professional installers so aware your on-site installation. Ne boss kura da fam pa. Oh yes, quality ne bo da feminine. Asatek 5 days pay na mo sa kan order na wo ye after sales service proper bin so. Hwehwe Asatek Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, Ebenkoko Board Warehouse, Western Region. So Asatek Takrade Anaji, Yene Princeland Hotel and the Shinimu, and the Volta Region yawo Akachi South District Assembly Kwino so ha.
And that's when you sign. Now, Jackson makes you and that's
Ya bread malaria near would you be prepared? Ah, hey, that's in mix and near ocean one what you are. No, I'm young red. Wapas, chicken one. That's in Mr. That's in Mr. That's in Mr. So and Fania grow. I want to
say malaria and quadia, no me Jackson mixer. Now, bet yes, King Kane.
They won't any more about food, about my buffer, about flower only and no murdering. Jackson Herbal Mister only size.
Ago, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it and wash your hands with soap under running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing.
Back from the break. You're still watching AM Ghana show here on Adoatv live in our studios on the John Evans Samuels High Street here in Accra. My name is Anastasia Badu. In the beginning of the show, we mentioned that we were going to speak to an expert from the FDA concerning the recall of Coa FS product. And so we have
Mr. James Latte.
Yes, we have Mr. James Latte from he is the head of communications at the FDA. Hello, Mr. James Latte.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Latte. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. How's work?
By God's grace, everything is good.
Mr. Latte, please, can you speak up a bit? I can hardly hear you.
Is it better now?
I'm trying to.
By God's grace, everything is fine.
Okay. Mr. Latte, we want you to tell us more about the issues concerning your recall of Coa FS food supplements from the market.
Okay. What actually happened is that FDA embarked on an inspection to the Coa FS facility, and during the inspection, we took samples of the product and then some from the market, which was taken to the lab for analysis. Now, when it went to the lab, we noticed that it contains high microbial load. High microbial load, that is yeast and mold. Secondly, there is something we call E. coli that we noticed was in the product. It's a form of bacteria in the product. And E. coli, for instance, is very, let me use the word, it's very dangerous when it's in a product and you consume the product. So due to these two things, we directed the company to withdraw their product from the market. So far, this is what necessitated the recall of the product.
Okay, but before these products get to the market, what checks does the FDA do on them before they are even allowed to be taken to the market?
Come again, please.
I'm saying before products are taken to the market, especially with health, what checks does the FDA do on them before it's taken to the market?
Yes, you see, when we are approving a product, the product will go through different tests, and when it's found to be okay, we permit you. But the contamination that we are talking about right now, it is not actually about the formulation of the product. No. It's not about the formulation of the product, but it's about something, I would say, went wrong during the process of production that caused the contamination. I don't know whether you are getting the difference.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, Mr. Latte, please, I can hear you.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that it is an issue of contamination and not the formulation product itself. So it is not like the product has not been done well. No. It is the contamination that occurs during the process of production.
And so what were the advices you gave? Upon realizing this, were there any advices you gave out to the company, which is Coa FS?
Yes. The company has been giving some recommendations as to things they have to put in place to ensure that subsequent production will not cause that contamination. So that they've been advised, they've been recommended to put those things in place.
Hello, Mr. Latte. I want to know from you that prior to our recording of cases concerning COVID-19, the issues about immune system or boosting immune system came to play. Did the FDA take the pain to go through the markets to see products that had to boost immune system, to take tests or to run tests on all these products and see if they were okay to be on the market or on the shelves for people to purchase?
You know, we do what we call normal routine checks, where we take samples of the market, we'll test them to be sure they are okay. And we do that for a whole lot of products. As we are talking right now, there's another product that a release is coming out that they are supposed to withdraw from the market. It's due to market surveillance that we are doing. So you see, it is more like, how would I put it? It is more like we have been selected when it comes to this. No, it's a normal process.
And so, did you give careful attention to these products in these hard times? Did you give careful attention? Was it supposed to take a particular span? And did you allow it to go through the necessary processes before allowing it to get back to the market and allowing people to purchase them?
Which one? Are you talking about the Coa FS?
Yeah, the Coa FS and other immune system boosters that were also on the market that you ran tests on.
Oh, yes. Yes. We actually made sure that it went through the necessary checks that you have to go before it came onto the market. We ensured all those things.
And so,
and you see, FDA does constant monitoring. If we do very constant monitoring to ensure that products on the market are safe for consumers. So it is something that is ongoing.
Mr. Latte, please kindly speak up a bit. I'm finding it difficult to hear you with the latter one you just gave. I'm finding it very difficult to get through you. And producer, if something can be done about it, I want to hear Mr. Latte clearly.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. We'll go with that. But now you've recalled the products. Does that mean that other products as well stand on the verge of being called off the market if anything should be found in them?
Come again. I see you.
Yeah, I'm saying that now that Coa FS is the first product that we've seen that has been recalled from shelves from the market, does that mean other immune system boosters also on the market stand the verge to be called off the shelves from the market if anything should be found in them?
Oh, yes, yes. Definitely. If we find any problem with any product, we are going to do the same. You see, we've been working with Coa FS, and we have never issued a statement of Coa FS. Meanwhile, we have issued statements that a lot of products on the market. And this time, it's Coa FS. So people should not misinterpret the sentence that is. If we should find the product on the market that has a problem, we ensure it will recall our product on the market.
All right, Mr. Latte, we'll move on to how you'll be going about to get these products off entirely from the market. But were you able to get into contact with authorities from Coa FS to ask why they had these contents, the equally you mentioned, and then some other things you found? Did you question them about them, or what was the interaction like?
We have actually had about 3 meetings with them after we found it out. And we've written to them, giving them detail of the last results, giving them recommendations, what they have to do. So we are actually in touch with them. Before even we came up with this release, we gave them the option to do the recall themselves. But unfortunately, they did not do it. That's why we have to issue the press statement.
And so how is the FDA getting the products off the market?
Our officers all over the region are doing market surveillance to ensure their total withdrawal from the market. Meanwhile, I know the companies themselves, that is Coa FS themselves, are also making efforts to ensure they should withdraw from the market. I know they are doing that.
Okay, so what's going to happen to those who have already bought and have consumed the product?
Well, yesterday a number of people called me that they've already consumed the product. I told them that if they are having any maybe symptoms after taking the product or anything, they just report to their doctor. Those that are them, I advise that they should return them to where they bought it from.
Okay, and so with your personnel that are on the markets, seeing to it that Coa FS products are taking off the shelves, how are they monitoring those who have bought them from homes?
Well, for home, we cannot. That is why we issued a statement that everybody that has some should take it either to the manufacturer or to the place of purchase. Because we cannot we cannot take it from homes. So that we can never do that. So anybody that has that have to take that step.
Very well. And thank you very much, Mr. Latte. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, too. Thank you, too.
Thank you. And so you just heard Mr. Latte and the head of communications from the FDA speaking to us about Coa FS immune system booster that have been on the market. They are saying it contains some things that shouldn't be in any health product. And so if you have bought, you should return them to where you bought them from, or you should take it back to the FDA. But if you have consumed already, you should also report to the nearest clinic or hospital and get checked.
All right. I think it's a good one there. At the end of it, the call you give at the end of it is to see to it that if they've bought the drug or they've bought the immune booster, that is the Coa FX, and they're having any side effects of their go to the hospital. and I'm grateful that he made mention categorically it is not the formation of the drug that is a problem, but it's been contaminated in terms of production. There are production lines of mistake that happened, which the FDA had seen and even go ahead to give a recommendation, and they didn't adhere to. So they hold it to withdraw the drug from the consumer market. We'll be speaking to the Deputy General Secretary of GUTA to know what their issue is with the Ghana Abo and Shippers Authority concerning demurrage issues and what have you. Yesterday, Anastasia had an interview with the Concerned Spare Parts Dealers Association on a similar subject. Subsequently, in the evening, we had the FDA, we had GUTA also coming to have a press conference to also do this one. I have Mr. Richard Amamu, who happens to be the Deputy General Secretary to GUTA on the line. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning.
I believe you are doing well this morning.
By the grace of the Almighty, I'm doing very well.
How did your lockdown go?
You can't complain.
Okay, we thank God.
As a good citizen, I have to obey the laws of the land.
Right. Sir, yesterday we had the Spare Parts Dealers Association releasing a statement concerning demurrage. Subsequently, in the evening too, the Greater Accra Regional Branch of GUTA also had a press conference over demurrage. What is the situation? Is it that there's an omitted treatment being given out in these times after the lockdown concerning goods that are locked down at the port?
Let me say good morning to your viewers. You said something. You say there is what?
I said, is there an issue concerning demurrage over GUTA leadership and your goods that are locked down at the port? Is that an issue that needs to be ripped out?
Thank you very much. There is we have an issue. The issue is all about time-related penalties with regards to clearing of goods. You know, when this lockdown issue came, right from 30th March, the government expects us to stay at home. And for that matter, if you are a shipper, you are supposed to stay at home. You are not supposed to open your shop. Now, if you have goods at the port, the instruction is minus clearing of goods. It means you can go and clear your goods. But when you decide to go for the goods, where are you going to offload the goods? You will definitely go and dump them in your shop, or either in your shop or your warehouse. And we have given instruction that nobody should open those things. For that matter, it's a border. So people are willing to go for their goods, because if you bring a goods there, you expect to get these boys around that you've been working with. They will offload the goods, and these people are also, they cannot come out. So there is a difficulty there. You see, so based on that instructions and on the face of it, we decided not to go for our goods. So we told government that now the shipping lines are charging demurrage because they did their rent and the rest. So we pleaded with government to speak to the shipping line, which they did with a letter coming from the Honorable Minister of Transport. So we expect that that instruction, the shipping lines will stick to that. But it looks as if the shipping lines are adamant. They don't want to,
adhere to the letter.
By the letter. So now, what we realize also that there are timelines issue with the letter that the Honorable Minister sent to the listener, because the announcement was made on 30th March. So that is why we say it is a time-related issue. That is, if my goods come into the system between 30th and let me say Sunday, we expect that demurrage should be waived off. You see, so this is the issue. The issue, what we are saying that what are the time limits that is being extracted to that? Now the lockdown, we are out of the lockdown aspect. You see, it means if my goods arrive today, they should start counting from today. Are you getting it? And for that matter, from today, I have to go make sure I'll go and clear my goods because the restrictions is out. But we are saying that they must focus between 30th March and Sunday, 19th April. As at 19th, because for us it is okay or for them to operate within the timeline. Either we are really suffering. If you ask me to go and then start selling maybe from yesterday, I can't generate so much to even pay my dues. There is a problem there, but when we get to that, the bridge will cross it.
All right, but have you tried concerning these timelines, even before coming out to speak, have you gone beyond to see the transport minister again to be very clear on the caveat concerning the modalities of the time that you are talking about?
You see, we have done that. We have sent circulars, and as part of our letting government to know our grievance, our griefs. We did the press conference yesterday. Do you understand me? But we have spoken to the minister, thinking that he will speak to the shipping line to adhere to the timeline, because the timeline is of essence. And if they don't regard the timeline, it means whatever instructions or directives they're giving to the shipping line is of no effect.
When are you expecting a positive results as a result or from this timeline thing? When are you looking for it that the ministry will retreat its timeline again to the shipping line, for the shipping line to adhere to it? As at when do you want these results?
The question is, we are in difficult times, as the president said to all of us, and we know we are all of us are experiencing it. Let's act as normal human beings. We did not say that we are not going to clear our goods. It is through this COVID-19 issues that the government restricted us, that not to go and clear our goods. We are doing business. Let me say the system has changed. So every stakeholder is supposed to act accordingly. Now we are working with shipping lines. They know very well that now we are not in normal times. They must also reason to know that if they say the shipper should stay at home, the shipper is supposed to stay at home. If you cannot stay at home and then get money, you needed to come out to get the money. So if you stay at home, you will not get the money to go and pay. You see, they think that nobody has got some money, locked up somewhere. Now that they have lifted the ban, all of us are now coming. We've come out. We are going to talk to our bankers and see for them to also come to our aid in that direction, so that if we have something to pay, we will pay. Either we have to stagger the payment, and then by arrangement, we will also do those things. You see, but as we speak, we expect the shipping line to act in a way that it will not put traders or shippers down, such that they cannot do business again. You see, we are in difficult times, and we expect the shipping line to help the process.
Finally, before I let you go, in the wake or in the case whereby the shipping line fails to adhere to the directives by the minister, to what extent will Guta go?
Come again.
I said, in the case or the course where the shipping lines fail to adhere to the directives by the ministry on the modalities that you are expecting, to what extent will Guta go?
We have so many avenues that we will use, but the question is, we expect them to, because it is real. You see, some of our members, even from 30th down to April, first week or second week, they paid some demurrages. You see, and we are even talking that those people that have paid, once there is directives that nobody should pay, there is a waiver. We expect that they will refund those monies to our people. You see, we expect that the shipping lines will respect our leaders and then act accordingly. There are so many ways we can. I mean, Buta, we have to use the table first. If it's not working, then we'll look at the other means. But I've talked, of course, we've been working with them, so we believe strongly that they will act accordingly.
All right. Thank you for your time, sir.
You are welcome.
All right. So that is Mr. Richard Amamu, happens to be the Deputy General Secretary of GUTA, speaking about their issues with the shipping lines or the shipping agencies concerning some demurrages that have been demanded for. And from what they are saying, from the 30th of March till just last Sunday, if your goods came in as a result of the lockdown, they can't collect. They just came to town yesterday, so you don't expect them to just quickly come to the port and then come and take it off. The transport minister has given a caveat that no one should take demurrage for these goods, but they want to know the modalities, the frame. Is it that containers coming in today or before 30th? They don't want to reason that because of common sense. People should use common sense because the shipping lines are failing to apply common sense. Then they should back it with documentations and what have you. This is what GUTA is saying.
Reginald, it's worrying. Yesterday, like you said, we spoke to someone when the Ghana Association of Spare Parts Dealers also made mention of these monies being taken from them, and they mentioned they had spoken to the Ministry of Trade to come and then settle this issue for them. And by end of yesterday, we heard that these things have been confirmed, or they've heard some positive news from it, that these monies shouldn't be charged, because like I said, it's not their fault that their goods are still there and not cleared. If they were given that ultimatum for them to go and then get their things off the place, and after the ultimatum, if your goods are found there, you'll be asked to be paying that money. I'm sure they would have made that time to get their things off. But it will only mean that when these monies are being paid weekly, because he mentioned 800 Ghana cedis. If they are to be paying 800 Ghana cedis a week, you should multiply that by 4 weeks. And we went on a 3 weeks partial lockdown. How much are we? That's like 27. That's like 27,000 or 27,000, right? And that is what they're going to pay. And it will only mean that they are going to increase what they are going to be selling on the market, and people will not be able to be purchasing. So some of these things shouldn't be coming up in these times. They should also weigh them as well. It shouldn't always only be about health. Yesterday, the Dr. Walanyo from Wisconsin University spoke about the effect on the economy. In as much as we are battling the disease, we should also have our minds on the economy and how we can make it stable and then comfortable for everyone.
Exactly. We're also looking at issue yesterday concerning community spread. What community spread is and how best we can break the cartel of community spread, or we can check ourselves or contain ourselves now that we are no longer under a partial lockdown. Senior Regional Lady is standing by with Reverend Dr. Sego. I got the name right.
Yeah.
Dr. Sego. They are standing by concerning the spread of COVID-19 in our communities, or community spread as a result of coronavirus. We're going to take that quick breather. When we come back, they have more for you.
Asaso ni say kroje. Se wonya Migo purified mineral water bogu ubua. We'll see you manum super. Migo mineral water dear danson. Esan said the modern technology so na ye. Ed nen kabia ni tree. Migo purified mineral water. Bacteria na mhen wa berem. Eye very hygienic. Obia di one dance here. Migo mineral water neatly packaged with 500 ml bottles mu. Na wani boswa. Na ukon donsio. Wobanya Migo purified mineral water to bebia. To phone ko dodo wa amount 40 paja Junction. And now for 050-7055-409 and now 055-392-1088. Migo Purified Mineral Water. Akona kono.
John, we finish 2 Meridian Road, a Cocoa Board Warehouse, Western Region, so Asatek, Takrade, Anaji, Yeni Princeland Hotel, and Edition, and a Volta Region, Yawo Akachi South District Assembly, Kwainosua.
Join me, Samuel Kusi Apia, every Monday at 8 p.m. on Adoatv as I bring you good things from
Sema edika editieno ya toto ho sere ene abasa e wo kasefidi eso me a meet ne dwemu edijimedi ho chiame edi amede so ene political baby face.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel.
Coronavirus include fever,
full of gorgeous classic olive oil.
Malaria and quad no me yakse mixer. Now bet yes king.
Mom and your mouth about my Jackson Herbal Mixture only size.
John, we finish. Wow, Eddie, what boy juma. I check a roofing now. Oh, you fell one casa from Asatek. Oh, na same roofing is a baby bray nice keke. Why the catch Asatek roofing sheet today, and your nice keke with the board dance wa a chey and renache. They want to call us a hood of a fair baby bray. No more free roofing sheet no dear. Who hear that will be out. Now so the board dance wa a zero supampe. What means which Roman send your open roofing sheet no. We try the summer pepe. Mama poor Asatek money there. One of my technical advice na estimate free or professional installers and so on your on-site installation. Ni boss crowd dafumpa. Oh yes, quality ni boda feminine. Asatek 5 days pay na wasa kan order. Na wa year after sales service papa binso. Hwehwe Asatek Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, a Cocoa Board Warehouse, Western Region, so Asatek Takrade Anaji, Yeni Princeland Hotel, and Edition, and a Volta Region, Yawo Akachi South District Assembly, Kwainosua.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town.
The modern technology very hygienic. Obia di one dance here. Migo mineral water neatly packaged for 500 ml bottles mu. Na wani boswa. Na ukon donsio. Wobanya Migo purified mineral water to bebia. To phone call Dodowa among Frotipa Junction. And now for 050-7055-409. And now 055-392-1088. Migo purified mineral water. Akona kono.
Gatling got away brilliantly indeed. He's ahead of the field at the moment. And Bolt going very, and here comes Usain Bolt.
Join me, Samuel Kusi Apia, every Monday at 8 p.m. on Adoatv as I bring you good things from the world of sports.
With garlic,
Olive oil.
Borges olive oil, the very best always.
And that's when you sign. The vaccine mixture, no, and that's
Ya bre malaria ni ewuje bebrebe. Ah. Hey. That's it mix and near. Ocean wanu watwa. No. Yes. Wapasu chicken wana. That's it mixture. That's it mixture. That's it mixture. So and Vanya grow. Yo ya. Wanu munyo de. Award to na. Vanya grow. No.
a malaria and quadia, no me yaxen mixer. Now, bet yes, king.
They won't any more about food, about my buffalo for. A buffalo when you feel you and no murdering. Jackson.
But if we must practice what we preach, and welcome to A.M Ghana.
Thank you.
Well, how are you coping in these times?
This is a new lifestyle, but we have to live with it.
We have to live with it. I can see that you're looking all fly. It's quite unfortunate, but this is how we are going to have to live for some time. You're a virologist and a priest as well. How do you merge the two?
Well, I mean, let me put it this way. I'm a Christian.
All right.
And for me, my faith is sitting somewhere and my faith sitting somewhere. I've had this question before.
I mean, it comes in all the time. Science and religion has, some...
And when I introduce myself, they first ask me whether I'm a professor of theology. And I tell them, of diversity is confirmed by science. It says God created animals in their diverse kinds. Okay?
Right.
And we see it in nature. People can choose to say it's evolution. I choose to believe what God said. So for me,
diversity.
Science is confirmed. Religion, science is confirmed.
That takes it on to what a virus is. Viruses have similarities. Virus, and how different is it from a bacteria?
A virus cannot grow without a living tissue.
Right.
And that's why there's the struggle as saying that virus is a living thing. Viruses are dead. Because you see, if you leave viruses here on this table,
they die.
And there is no living tissue there, they will not grow.
Right.
Make it easier for your listeners.
Reverend, before you go on that important destination with us, we want to take a quick detour. We'll come back to continue shortly. Stay tuned.
Go, good people of Ghana. Here are some safety measures on prevention of coronavirus. 1. Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it and wash your hands with soap and the running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868 or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Borges with garlic, excellent for your girls. Make your meals healthy with Borges.
I maintain a healthy life with Borges olive oil.
Borges olive oil, the very best always.
John, Wufi new. Wow, Edeyefe, Edi Wabwejuma. I check Wufi na Oyefe Wankasa from Asatek. Oh, na same roofing sheets are baby nice keke. Why the catcher? Asatek roofing sheet there, and you nice keke. With the board dance wa a chey and renache. They want to call us a hood of a fair baby. No money free roofing sheet no dear. Who hear that wabia? Now so the board dance wa a zero supampe. What means which Roman send your open roofing sheet no? We try the summer pepe. Asatek Watema Community 2, Meridian Road, a Benkoko Board Warehouse, Western Region, so Asatek Watakrade Anaji, Yeni Princeland Hotel, and the Dishinu, and the Volta Region, Yawo Akachi South District Assembly Kwainusuwa.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African print and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240-926-564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Numun super na wanya pomuden. Se wo ba numun so a, hwe hu ni se eye Migo purified mineral water. Eye nso a yeto ni baby pa. Asaso ni so se kroje. Se wonya Migo purified mineral water bogu ubu a, wo see you manumun super. Migo mineral water de edanso. Esan say the modern technology so na ye. Ede na nkabia ni atri. Migo purified mineral water. Bacteria na mhenu aberem. Eye very hygienic. Obia di wadanse. Migo mineral water neatly packaged for 500 ml bottles mu. Na wani boswa na okon donsio. Wobanya Migo purified mineral water to baby a. To phone call dodo wa amount for Tipa Junction. And now for 050 7055 40.
Staying with us, this is A.M Ghana on Adoatv, and I'm
So, in order for us to basically understand this, they are similar, but they are different. You know, it's a coronavirus that makes it similar, but there are slight differences in the genetic makeup that make it behave differently. So you will see that the SARS, the first SARS, SARS-CoV-1, does not seem to spread or did not spread as quickly as this one is spreading. So this one seems to have a much more quick. It spreads much more quickly. Its ability to spread is much higher than that of SARS-CoV-1, and as well as the MERS, the one that was in Middle East. So they all cause respiratory syndromes. By respiratory syndrome, we are saying a number of symptoms or pathological differences that relate to your respiratory system or your breathing, etc. But this one seems to spread much more quickly and seems to have much more damage, or well, let me say, it seems to spread much more quickly than the others. So that's why we are struggling with it. The other ones also kill people, but this one is spreading much faster and it's infecting more people, so killing much more people. And then now it's what you call a pandemic. It has spread throughout the whole world. Almost every country now has it. So basically, if you're talking about differences, that's what makes it different. And that's why we are suffering with masks and struggling to change masks from time to time.
And so if the rapid nature of its spread is what makes it so different from the indigenous or the already known coronavirus, why don't we maybe just cut the wings off, and then I believe that could lead us to a quicker end than what we're finding as it is now. We do not have a vaccine towards the new coronavirus.
Well, it's easier said.
It's easier said. I mean, the only difference is that this one flies quickly. So let's cut the wings.
Well, it's carried by human beings.
Okay.
And that's why initially it was in China. Initially it was in China. And everything was in China. I think
of the virus.
It's actually an RNA virus, so the genetic material.
The genetic material. Yes. What does that mean for virologists or people that are developing vaccines?
So, first and foremost, by having to know the genetic makeup, they can actually tell where the virus came from, how well related it is to the original strain that is from Wuhan, because all these things have been put in a database. So they could compare it. And if I'm right, after comparing it, they found out that it was about 95% to the original strain. So that gives you an idea of how much change has gone on in the virus since it was first detected in Wuhan. That is the first thing. The second thing is that depending on the nature of the vaccine that is being made, some of the vaccines may take into consideration the type of strain. You know that the virus has different places. Let me find a simple way of a human being.
Right.
You have your genetic makeup that codes for your head, codes for your arm, codes for your legs. Okay.
But
the virus,
in all there is a similarity in all.
Oh yes, there's a similarity. So that's why I'm saying it's about 95%, if I'm right. But your genes code for different parts of your body and how you behave in different parts of you. So it is not every part of the genetic makeup that may be needed for a vaccine.
Right.
Sometimes they may find a region which may have a lot of similarity across. In that case, they may not need all the strains to be able to. But again, you may also want to find out to make sure, before you can do that, to make sure that how different this region is across the viruses all over the world. So that if you're doing a vaccine, you can think about
that knowledge is for scientists to help them.
Yes.
But does that mean that there's going to be a catalyst towards getting a vaccine for the novel coronavirus?
I'm a virologist, but I don't want people to be hopeful about a vaccine in the near future.
Well,
you see, the vaccines will normally go through a series of tests.
Right.
You start out of preclinical and clinical trials.
Right.
Any consequence come. I see, you've heard of this virus, cytomegalovirus.
Well,
it's one of those viruses that children will have as they grow up because of the way they play, because it's passed through saliva, and then they are together. And if you test most people now, you find that most people have been exposed to it. And the last count I saw in one of the studies, 70%, even here in Ghana.
Right. But it's not deadly.
Well, it's not deadly, but it can be deadly for the unborn child. But the point I'm trying to make is that I see a lot of similarity between this one and that one. That virus is difficult to settle. The small ones can remain in the air for a while. And as we are talking, because we are now having prolonged contact, the thing is that when you start inhaling it, you may, and the person has it, you may also inhale it. But in terms of the behavior of the virus, for example, people shedding it before they are sick, in terms of the fact that it is very contagious, it's easy to spread, these are not new things to virology. Many viruses behave like that. And I hope I'm not going to frighten people. We may have many more viruses to come which will behave slightly differently.
Well, I mean, nobody thought that would get here, but we're here. So it's safe to think like that.
Basically, we call them emerging diseases. Okay.
Right.
For me, if you ask me what we have learned, I think that the lesson, one of the biggest lessons, even in the health sector, is that we should practice medicine as though a new virus will come at any time. That for me is the biggest lesson I have learned.
That means that there
from
would have
this.
to be, trial and error. That you may perhaps think that based on how we are living now, or based on how viruses are developing, this is what could be in the future. Is that what you're saying? And if that is the case, would you confirm or debunk the assertion that the virus was created by a human being with now suffering?
You are pushing me to areas where
I mean, we are learning.
So yes, let me first let me just finish with that.
Right.
So first, my point is that I think that the reminder that this virus is bringing is that, or the next things, some of the major things we can learn is that viruses can be in the same group and yet behave differently. These are not new things per se. The second thing is that we need to practice medicine. And by medicine, I'm not talking about sitting in the consulting room again. We should all work as though tomorrow, God forbid, a virus will appear from Yendi. A virus will appear from Tema, from Accra, from somewhere, an ecological environment which is easy. These are, some of them are called emerging diseases because they've never, a novel virus has never occurred before and it's found its way into the human population. Okay. So we need to do things as though we will see something new at any time. That for me is the underlying thing. Right. And as a country, we should not wait for the next epidemic because we don't know when it will come. So we should be ready so that when it comes, we can jump into it and solve the problem rather than waiting for it to come. Because we have not experienced this before. When Ebola came, it never got here. We've had other viruses threatening other places. We hardly see them here. So the fact is we have not really, this is a real first experience that we have. And this should spur us on to move forward. And I'm happy that some of the private enterprises have decided that they are building permanent isolation centers across the country. I think that's a good thing. And we should congratulate them for putting in that effort because that is what we need. We need permanent structures to be, and permanent practices to be able to deal with these when they appear.
Father, you may not debunk or confirm that the virus was created by...
I'm going to that.
Okay. To make it simpler, are viruses created?
You can modify the virus. Now, because of genetic engineering, you can do anything to a virus. So the reports that I have read, I was coming to that, but I may not give you a direct answer at the point. This is because I have no evidence. But it's possible. So there are parts of a virus that make it active. You see, just like a key. When you use a key for a door, you cannot go and use any key to open any door. But keys are meant to open doors.
Yes.
Okay. But because it's a specific lock, if it's a good lock, of course, you need a specific key to open that lock. Viruses are such that they bind to specific receptors. So see the lock as wait, this is the virus. So see the lock as the virus or the cell and the receptor, and then the virus as the key. And the part of the virus which binds to it is the part of the key that enters. And because it's specific, that is the only one that can open it. So that's how viruses behave. They don't just affect any cell. They have specific cells because there are specific receptors on that they bind to. Okay. Now, if you have some viruses like SARS, you may find some in bats that may not have that kind of ability to bind to the receptor for humans. But you can go to the lab and modify it to be able to suit that and then bind to this receptor and then find itself able to infect human cells. Then it means that then it can infect human beings. So I'm saying that technically, yes, you can actually modify a virus to be able to infect a different environment, a different population species that it doesn't infect. But as to this specific one, I have seen so many controversies. But I can't tell because I don't have evidence that that is what was done, that it was brought from the wild and modified to bring into the human population.
All right, now let's move away from that. These are everyday discussions. I just wanted you to throw more light on that. Now, in a write-up that you made, you compared our attitude or our response to the coronavirus to when it was announced that we're going to experience an eclipse.
Yes.
Indeed, when it was announced that we're going to experience the eclipse, I mean, the education went on so well. It was on TV, it was everywhere. I mean, just as it's been done for the coronavirus. But one thing in your write-up that I realized was that the understanding of the phenomenon that was about to happen made people in their own ways develop ways to in order to experience
active community engagement.
Right.
By active community engagement, I mean that do not sit down and say I'm waiting for government to come and tell me everything I need to do. Right? Yes, government has a responsibility for all of us, but we should be able to say we have community leaders, we have people who have influence in the communities. When they speak, things happen. We have politicians who campaign when they are going for elections. Right? They go from door to campaign. They all have networks that they can speak to, that they can use. My point is, I'm not saying we should go and form big gatherings, but we should find a way of reaching our constituents to be able to explain to them that this is a way, if we go this way, it will not be helpful. In fact, we should remind them that this whole lockdown that came with all this suffering and pain, for many people, if we cannot do the basic things, like keeping distances from each other, and sometimes you see them actually talking into their faces. And I'm wondering, do they know what is happening? You know, people still don't...
Any symptoms at all? Do we have a specific name for them?
Asymptomatics.
Asymptomatics.
Yeah, they don't show symptoms.
Right.
Okay, so they don't have clinical symptoms.
Thank you.
So my point is, my key thing is that we should have active community engagement. Yesterday, I was coming back I went to buy water and coming back to Kolibu. And I realized that the barbers were still cutting hair. There was no mask. The person was sitting under the barber. And I'm like, if this person is carrying and spreading, but there are people who are engaging the barbers to say that this is the probability. But it is active community engagement. The MCE, the DCE, the one who is even seeking for a vote. This is not the time for politics. This is not the time to be telling people things. This is the time for us to all get to the ground and see how best we can help within the protocols accepted. But I'm stressing on this. So I'm not saying go and form a large gathering, go around shaking people and greeting them. But within the networks that you have, how can you help to make people aware that this is real? And the only way we can avoid a major lockdown is when we behave and when we decide that we will do all the necessary things. I sum it up this way. Let me always assume that anybody I meet is spreading the virus.
Right.
Let me assume that I am also spreading the virus, and that everybody I meet does not have the virus. If I set my behavior in such a way within that context that anybody I meet is possibly spreading or I am spreading, it will help us to be able to break the transmission of the virus.
Right.
You see, if your father, your parents had not agreed to have you, you will not be here.
Right.
I don't know if you have children.
No, I don't know.
Then maybe I should go to another generation. If your grandfather had not agreed, your grandparents had not agreed to have your father, you would not have been here, would you? No, you wouldn't. So let us see it in the same way. If I decide that I am moving for myself from the chain of people who are spreading it, it will not let somebody else be infected.
Right.
It's as simple as that. It's just like giving birth to children. If one parent, if your grandmother had decided, no, I don't want any children, you wouldn't have come.
Right.
Because your father would not have come anyway. So we are passing it down. It's like passing it down a generation. When we decide that we don't want to be part of the spread, let's keep ourselves out of the chain. We are saving another 1,000 people from actually getting the infection. So nobody should think that, oh, me, only me, what is it? I can't do anything to change this whole big picture. You can. But But are you deciding that you don't want to be part of the chain of passing the virus? And for me, it is the community that will win this battle.
It is a community that would win this battle. And as it says, I mean, you've seen some of the problems that exist with the education that has been done so far. Would you say that the adage that familiarity breeds contempt comes to play here? Because we've heard about this virus over and over and over. Now, good thing is that the communication ministry is always trying to update the populace.
But that's why we should help them. We should also play our role.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
But it seems that that is rather informing people. People are believing that, as the Minister of Communications says, we are trying to stay ahead of the virus. We are trying to contain. These are the words. We're trying to contain the virus. And so perhaps the frontliners are, let's say, the ones on the battlefield, whilst the populace sits behind. Do you think that there could be some misconception or misinterpretation in these communications?
And the way we carry ourselves will determine how quickly the virus will spread or how quickly the virus will be controlled. So if all of us decide that we are part of the solution, then we can work on it to bring the solution. I have heard that it's the rich man's sickness. I have heard that they say the people who are the BC side, that's what they can't get it. They are bathing in salt water. There's so much talk about different things.
Father, it will surprise you to know that people still live by these myths that were circulated earlier on, that in Africa we have the sun, the virus cannot survive under the sun, blah blah blah. And so
let me say this. Let me say this as a virologist. The heat from the viruses can actually damage, for want of a better word, damage the outer covering. It can. Because I have worked with HIV before, and if you want to work in the lab with it to prevent people from being infected, we heat it at 56 degrees for 30 minutes to 1 hour, and then we use the plasma, because we believe that at that point it is the damage that has been caused will not make it infective again. So, but the results we are seeing now shows that in spite of the heat, it can still spread. So let's deal with it. Have your mask, double protection.
You seem to be very keen about, being in the open than being indoors.
Well, indoors in your home, yes. But going to meetings, meeting other people, I think I wish I could have all my meetings outside.
Right. How about people that are working in offices? I mean, despite the measures that has been put in place, some essential staff have to be at work.
Exactly.
Those on exemption, or those who have to work. Some work in air-conditioned environments. How susceptible are these persons to those who are not using the ACs?
Well, there's even a talk now of saying that by a respiratory specialist, of saying that these air conditioners have filters.
Yes.
If you have somebody who has come into the room and has spread it, you don't know how much of these filters are. And you know that the air conditioners work sometimes by circulating the air within the room.
Exactly.
I personally am not safe. I'm not comfortable with output. Every job has its descriptions. I can't sit here and determine that in this office people should do this, etc. Of course, now we are all wearing masks, so that is becoming part of our lives. But I think that every office should design something that will still make them productive, but would also not would also prevent the virus from being spread. Well, the universities are trying to do online teaching. Just yesterday, I had my first lecture with the students. It was an online thing. I gave them the slides. We looked at the slides and we shared it. It worked fairly well. We can now kind of evolve new strategies to prevent. And now a lot of people are using Zoom for meetings or different platforms online. So maybe we can stick to that for meetings rather than having a meeting, physical meeting where everything. We can decide that we will go electronic. Send the board papers by email, and we would use that and have a Zoom meeting. And I know many people may be doing such things, but what I'm saying is that we all have to evolve new ways of trying to reduce contact time with each other, but yet trying also being efficient.
All right. Well, in case you just joined us, I'm here with Reverend Professor Kwamina Asego. He's a virologist. Kwamina, sorry, thank you. Reverend Professor Kwamina Asego. He is a virologist and a priest as well. He's a priest assistant at the St. Augustine's Anglican Parish in Dansoman. We are talking about COVID-19, basically centering on how to prevent community spread. Now, Prof, we've put in so many measures as a country. Yes. I mean, borders were closed. Persons that came in within those times were put on mandatory quarantine. We've seen results. Campaign is ongoing. Where have we got into as a country in the fight towards COVID-19? We saw other countries beginning from zero to where we are now. Where have we got into?
The last time I checked the ministry, but first and foremost, I need to say this. I must things to make you more efficient. But I think that they've done a good job. They have done extensively well, collecting 60 samples to test. If you have ever worked in a lab before, and you've even done a PCR before, and they are telling you that they've run 60,000, you would know what they have done. Right. And so they have done a big job. Collecting samples, going to the samples, sorting the samples out. I think it's a yeoman's job, and I think we should congratulate them. And the second thing is that you were wondering whether we should what we should do, or where we are as a country, and where we are. So there is more we can do. So I just thought I should say this first. And if you look at the curve, I've been monitoring the Ministry of Health page, and if you look at the curve that I saw, I don't know what is there today. I think the last count was 1,084.
Increasing, but at a decreasing rate, and so the rate at which it is increasing is slowed down. You know, from the initial stages, when you check the curve, you realize that there was a gradual bend, then a steep bend, it goes up steeply again. Now it seems to be flattened, but not all that flat. It is rising at a very slow pace. Well, yeah. What does that mean for us?
If you see, those are backlog of samples. It seems to me, from what I see, based on the information that is available, that there seems to be some control of the spread.
Yes.
Sorry for the mask, I'm getting used to it, you know. I've been at home for a while, so so I prefer to do it this way. Mask, you see, assuming I wasn't...
Let's go straight. You're talking about preventive measures. Yes. And I think that we have... Hand
sanitizer is not just putting a little here and doing this, and then you are gone.
So it should be poured?
Yes, it should be poured.
It should be like the water, you know, when you do it under the tap.
It should be enough for you to do all the rubbing.
Or count from 1 to 10 in each of the following steps. Wet hands with water and apply enough soap to cover all surfaces of the hands. Let the water run smoothly to avoid touching the tap later on. Rub hands palm to palm to obtain a good quantity of foam. Then rub right palm over the back of left hand with interlaced fingers, and vice versa. Rub again palm to palm with fingers interlaced. Rub the back. If the tap is not elbow operated, use this towel to turn off the tap without touching it directly.
You saw how to do it and make sure that every corner in your palm or on your hand is well washed or sanitized. How do we, you're saying that we should do it just the way,
in terms of the rubbing motions, etc. Yes. So you can imagine that if you're going to do all those rubbing motions, and you just put a little sanitizer here, it will not be enough, because the virus could be hiding anywhere here. I think it's important also that we keep our fingernails low, because when you pour it in your palm, you want to dip your fingernail. It's really important that you wash your hands as frequently as possible. For example, if you're in an office, I don't believe in wearing gloves. Because I believe that the gloves give us a false protection. Because I'm wearing gloves, I think that, oh, okay, yeah, I'm okay. You know, I'm fine. And so, ideally, if I wasn't wearing gloves, I'll move from this office and move to this place, my car. Yeah, I would have actually even probably used sanitizer once. This brings to me in gloves. If I see something like that, I'll just get my sanitizer and my rubbing alcohol ready and wipe it immediately and wash my hands. Because I think that that person has this false security because he's wearing gloves. I think that the gloves may actually become an agent to transmit. Right. And I think that because if we are using our bare hands, we will be conscious to wash, to sanitize, and to keep it clean as frequently as possible. And we are not going to likely pick things from somewhere and give to others. So basically, you were talking about after lockdown when the video was showing.
Yes, so we're talking about...
Basically, we should all become community agents of change. You know, it can be frustrating. I tried it once in the write-up. You see, talking to people and they were looking at me as though, who is this person and what does he want to tell us? You know, but we should all in our small way become agents of change. We should all in our small way remove one person from the chain of transmission. If we do that, we are saving many more people from the line of being infected. We should all in our small way look at our very setting that we have. You know, I've seen videos going around, I say, hey, freedom. The one was saying that the president, what has been done means that they have left us to be on our own.
I mean, just after the left was announced by the president, people just came out to the numbers dancing.
Yeah,
I
saw the clip.
It wasn't as if you were imprisoned. You've just been, you know, taken out of prison. They find time to come out and jubilate, you know, without observing the... It seems that was the only thing that people heard.
And I've been looking at the Ministry of Health bars. If you look at the chart, you realize that the men,
yes.
The men should let sit at home.
Why do you think it's so?
Well, I guess men are more difficult to control. Maybe women are more disciplined. Right. But now the interesting one, I've not seen it today, yesterday, that those below 15, there were more...
Yeah, I mean...
there were more girls than boys.
Yes. But why is it so? If the younger ones are supposed to have a better immune system, how come we're having more of them?
Well, just one person from the chain. We are removing a generation from an infection.
Right. Well, I guess that's well said. Before you go, I know that you're a Reverend Father. I believe you would have a message to give. I believe that it's been a while you did some preaching. So give me a small message and then we'll share prayer before we go.
Yes. My message is this. Let us continue to pray and trust God. As a Christian, I believe God knew this was going to happen.
I see.
Because he knows the beginning and the end. And just as it has come, as we cry to him, interest, maybe you can call it selfish interest because of time, is one for us to get effective drugs to treat and for us to practice enforce the necessary prevention measures so that hopefully if these two work, then we can gradually go back doing some research on the SARS-CoV-2 that causes COVID-19. The Lord, you will open their eyes, you will hold their hands, that we'll be able to find effective drugs to treat this condition and ultimately to get an effective vaccine to use. We know that you can do more than we can ask or think of. So you have heard us and you will do more than we have asked. We pray that you will protect all of us. Give us wisdom to conduct our lives. Show us the things we need to do to prevent us from being a chain in the infection process. And above all, Lord, help our leaders in taking decisions for us, that they may be able to take the right decisions that will bring peace and progress to this country and to the world as a whole. Thank you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you very much,
You're
Reverend
very welcome.
Professor Kwamena Sego. I needed to get that one right. He's a priest assisting at the St. Augustine's Anglican Church, and he is a virologist as well. We've learnt a lot today about the SARS-CoV-2, the virus responsible for COVID-19. What we must...
Cover your mouth with tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of tissue into a bin immediately you cough into it, and wash your hands with soap and the running water. Avoid shaking hands and use sanitizers as often as you can. Signs and symptoms of coronavirus include fever, cough, sneezing, and difficulty in breathing. Should you experience any of these, or for more inquiries, please contact 0558 439 868. That's 0558 439 868, or call 0509 497 700. That's 0509 497 700.
Remember to always wash your hands with soap and running water.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, and partners.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African print and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.